So welcome to everybody. Now, as I've just shown you on the screen, while the session is basically running, your microphones will be in mute statement. Okay. The only reason is we do not want any external sounds to disturb the session. So one of the fundamental question you may be having is how we need to raise any questions or any kind of queries. You can use your chat box from your Zoom. And technically, I'll be looking into the corresponding chat box on a priority. And if the question is given to the session, I'll see that I'm attending through the process. Okay. Is anything relevant to your criteria? Like some people may be having concern with respect to their career and all those things. Those all things you can just try to contact me on my WhatsApp or any other kind of medium from where you can just communicate after the sessions. Okay. Let us not waste our session for the sake of all those kind of discussions, which may not be essential for everybody. Now, definitely no doubt, AI and ML is one of the buzzing words in the market. And I think almost all 100% people who want to come into IT sector, they are in one kind of a fundamental notion that if I am not learning AI and ML, then I cannot have a place in my IT career. Technically, it's a myth, I can say. Why? Because everything will not be AI and ML. But there are certain places where 100% AI and ML will definitely start creeping in, and it can make the world look very different in the upcoming 10 years because of the developers who are very seriously working on the construct of artificial intelligence and machine learning. There will be two different kinds of sectors you can find in the coming days. These were already there long back, but now we are seeing them in a different perspective. There was one particular area called as ITES long back. I don't know whether majority of you people are aware of it or not, which is basically called as IT enabled services. There were one kind of jobs where people many times they used to think that they're also technically nothing but constructively IT jobs. IT jobs are different and IT enabled services are different. We need to first understand that. Now, when you say IT enabled services, what I mean is, depending upon the information technology, we will give some services to the end user. The best example I can take is your IVRS, Interactive Voice Response System, is one kind of ITES based service only. Second, having a call center executive who technically tries to answer potential queries raised by the people who are using some kind of electronic gadgets or electronic devices or any kind of device where technically is unable to operate and he wants to fundamentally know the issue behind the actual problem, and then suggestively it can be monitored and it can be repaired or sometimes by in person. We used to have something called as call center executives, business process outsourcing. These all areas, people thought that they are IT based jobs, but actually they are IT enabled service based jobs. The second is a core IT. Core IT is nothing but where these kind of IT enabled services based gadgets or applications or any kind of business product or business process was being developed where the actual software engineers used to work. And in IT, whenever you're speaking IT based jobs, let us say when you're saying IT engineers or software engineers, in that we used to have another area called as core computer sciences, means computer science programmers. Computer science programmers are nothing but the guys who work at the core of the architecture who make the system of computers to get ready, to who make the system of controllers and microprocessors to get ready, where the people from programming languages or application development side, they can come sit and develop business related applications. So technically, whenever you come to the area of computer sciences, there was always some multiple different number of layers with which professionals used to get operated, and they used to give services. Okay, on a span of time, it's because of hundreds of reasons. I don't want to get into those reasons. Finally, people forgot that IT means it is multi different kinds of areas from where these services can be given. So in that particular process, much lot of tools they started coming in, because we were having thousands of people who say that they're computer science graduates, maybe postgraduates. They know programming languages, they know different kinds of applications, okay, software applications, which can be database or which can be a front end, whatever it is. Slowly, the requirement of developing greatest applications to the end user started increasing suddenly, but the net amount of resources available for programming, they started decreasing. Try to understand my statements very carefully. So what happens now? Let us take a general criteria. A particular point of time, technically, let us say like I want to run a small business, and in that business, I need the help of say like 10 different people who can make my business process to get executed successfully. Means I can invest money, I can make arrangements by the system, but finally to execute my business, I need 10 people who can work for me, whom I can consider them as accountants or maybe the people who provide services, whatever XYZ you call. Now, down the line, let us say like the demand of this kind of people in the market because of this business started expanding has increased, but I have found that it is very difficult for me to get the manpower who can support and operate my business. Then as a businessman, can you tell me, if you are a businessman in your perspective, if you're unable to get the manpower that is very much essential to make your business to exist, sustain and grow and continue, you are unable to get the manpower that is expected or that is reasonably not in correct price. Let us say like the other reason is they're not reasonably in the correct price. What can be given out of your profits when you're conducting the business? Because you also as a businessman wants to see some profits. From that, you will be sharing your criteria in the form of salaries or whatever it is. Then can you tell me as a businessman, what will be your criteria of mindset? Can I just have an idea in the chat box from all the people? Hello. What will be your decision if this scenario arises for you if you are a businessman? I will try very hard to see whether there can be anybody who can take the requirement of my resources and they can supply me directly rather than I go and look into the market individually by giving job postings XYZ or anything and get the people. Why? Because I cannot just dilute my concentration on the business for the sake of the labor force that is basically necessary to continue my business. So I'll look for somebody who can take the liaison. So that's how maybe your job consulting services have started. Who will try to find the people in the market. They introduce to the companies. Companies will try to conduct interviews. They recruit. This all has happened. But imagine that even after this kind of alternative solution I've identified, I'm unable to get the correct resources. Even if I'm getting the resources, they are looking too costly than the work what they can do. I'm not really having confidence they will stay or they will go any moment from my particular services. Then I think the only option left for me is automation. Do you agree with me? The only alternate that is left for me is automation. Do you agree with me? This is the real thing that is happening in the world today. That's all. If you really want to ask what is Why I need AI and ML? The simple thing is, majority of the business people in the world, they are only thinking that let me concentrate on my investments and my capital and how I can conduct the business. I do not want to involve myself in the operations of the business, which is becoming a highest dependency on manpower, where manpower is not consistent. It's not as reliable as it is, say, like 15, 20 years back. Great lot of attrition rate is there. Now, with all these kind of risks, as a businessman, I'm not ready to risk my actual business. The core of my business, I cannot risk now because of the operational problems that are arising in my business. Now, what I am thinking is, why can't I automate this process? The simple thing I'll say is, in a banking system, suppose say like in a teller counter, a cashier is sitting and giving the cash. Your generation may not be knowing that, but our generation seriously know this. There were cases where if a cashier who has to give the cash in the teller counter was suddenly on leave, there were cases in banking systems where the bank authorities were unable to adjust another person into the teller counter, and that day the cash receipts and withdrawals were cancelled. Your generation may not be knowing that, but our generation has really seen that. Then technically what happened now? Cash machines came. You can just select teller machines where the cash need not be counted. Then accountability of ledger management. Computers have replaced there. I mean, just take the check from you. I need a person who can just read the check and the amount, cross-verify the signature, check the cash, and then put it in the cash machine. Do not even be counting it, and then release the cash. Now, this person, I don't think, is doing great amount of conceptual or any kind of conscious work now. It's just depending 80% on the machine, is only endorsing a signature and a stamp on your particular check or your withdrawal slips or your receipts. Am I correct? Am I correct? But I think I need to give him a great amount of salary now. As a number of banking accounts have increased and the people became much aware that we need to go through banking process, and the net amount of density of demand on the teller counters have increased. The banking system thought that this much of load of customers coming into the bank we cannot bear. Then ATMs came. After ATMs came, don't you think that we have reduced almost all 80% of the load on the physical banking system to take the cash? Okay, other things, deposits I'm not saying, but taking the cash we have decreased by 80% or not? Then came digital currency. Once the digital currency came, I think we have eliminated 99% of the cash withdrawals as well as somewhere around 80 to 85% of the deposits also. Do you agree with me? Now, physical manpower in operational sector has reduced, but to develop these ATM machines, the computer science programs that can make you do this digitalization and understand who is the correct person who is sending the money or receiving the money, these all validation authorizations, if they have to be done, don't you think that the number of jobs in the core computer sciences have increased? This is what is going to happen in the next part of the world. We need more and more and more very core artificial intelligent programmers with machine learning experts. Now the world is getting divided once again so fast into two things: people who will develop AI and people who will use AI. Once again, the world is already divided into two things: people who develop AI and people who use AI. You should have very clear clarity on this without any confusion once again. Why? Because decide very carefully. You want to be a person who can use AI and make the world feel you're automating, or you're a person who is thinking you want to develop AI that can help the people who are using the AI and make the world automated. Our entire course is fundamentally concentrating on how we will think of developing core AI. Is that point clear to you? Therefore, there are some buzzwords in the market nowadays like generative AI. Now, this generative AI is what? Generative AI is nothing but you already have one environment of AI. From that environment of AI, you are generating another environment or application or any kind of product that looks like an AI. Am I clear? The best example I can take is ChatGPT is already one kind of environment that has the intelligence of giving you certain solutions. Yes or no? Using that, I will try to take some information from ChatGPT by contacting the ChatGPT on the prompt, and then I will customize certain patterns in such a way that they can look better to my requirement of the end user. So am I doing the entire core AI here? No, definitely not. But certain amount of customization on that AI is that this is at least a okay. This is at least a bit of service that is okay. But now I think latest you are listening something called as agentic AI. Yes or no? AI agents. Now, AI agents is something that is really damaging the mindset of the people once again. AI agents are nothing but you are just developing one patternized processed AI solution from an existing AI components that are existing to the end user. Once that particular pattern is accepted to the end user, your project is completed. You should just immediately jump on to the next one. Many people are moving into this field thinking that it is an AI. I'm not saying it's AI, but it is something like, once again, you're identifying some service that is an essentiality and you're just trying to make that particular service available to end user without any coding. Means you just try to integrate the process and you make it automated. That's all. Therefore, we are getting into the world of artificial intelligence, means we are thinking of how we can be the core developers in the world of artificial intelligence to make the systems in AI that can be developed. Be very, very clear about that. Therefore, if you take the fundamental definition, if you take the basic definition of AI, what exactly it means? It is nothing but an area or concept which refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are designed to think and act like humans. The final goal of a real artificial intelligence programmer is he wants to develop a machine that can be equivalent to the thought process and activities and actions of a human being. I mean, simply to say, long back we used to call them as robots, and today you can just say, hey, a more matured robot which can be recognized to the level of humanoid, means mostly equivalent to a human being. That is actually the concept of AI. From this AI, multiple different services have started. You fall into the services once again, or you fall into the core development, that you should decide. So, if core developers in artificial intelligence are not available, all the remaining services that are depending upon the AI will destroy. They will just close off. Be very, very clear about that. Already, very great industries, they are thinking, can we get on-demand AI engineers in the next future? Companies like Tesla, they are getting worried because they have taken biggest projects on artificial intelligence for the next generation, having a forecasted vision of minimum 20 to maximum 50 years. They have taken such projects. They are already in their thoughts. Companies like Motorola, Philips, Panasonic, Samsung, these all companies in medical research, they are already having certain projects in their brain. What they are thinking that they should serve the humanity in medical sciences, and they are now getting worried. Can we get such core artificial intelligence programmers for our projects in the next decade? Why? Because AI is already getting diluted, making majority of the people go into using the AI services to develop applications on AI, thinking it is the core AI. The core developers are decreasing once again. So the market is already in a shattering state. Even software companies which are thinking of transforming themselves into next level AI implementation constructs, they are getting worried. Can we get the core AI engineers or not? So if you are really thinking of coming in here, think seriously and come. Don't think like something will be there, I will utilize it and I will create which can be automated. No, don't come in that particular way. Because if you are a core AI programmer only, you can survive and sustain your career for a long time. If you are a person depending upon any of the AI platform, and if you are thinking of developing something as a process-based criteria, then technically it is something that's going to keep you into insecurity of your job again and again. Check out. The second thing is there is very clear goal with which AI is actually planned. Today, your generation could be thinking about and you could be listening about AI. Man, AI as a subject in computer sciences was already there in 1980s itself. It's not new today. Today, it's coming into the common man's world. Previously, it was in core scientific areas. So to create, whenever you talk about the AI, the major goal of AI is to create systems which technically have the capability of performing tasks that would normally require human intelligence. Be very clear about that. Means human beings can definitely do certain kinds of tasks. Nobody is denying that. But there are certain limitations with which human being can really do. Why? Because there can be certain areas where human being intervention cannot be possible. The best example I'll say is, I want to select a specific amount of space scientists. They really thought like, let us see what is actually happening in the fission reactions that are happening in the sun. Can you expect human beings to go and see this particular state and come back and explain to the worldman? Definitely not. We can do some mathematical analysis, apply some amount of physics or chemistry into it. By equations and derivations, we can say, because of these things in the mathematical derivation, this is happening. People should believe it. Do you agree with me? We are not undermining the mathematicians, but finally, one particular area of doubt is there. Can we really make the same thing happen? Means, if I want to say that this mathematical derivation of mine with this physics state of equation is perfect, operating on the chemical reactions of the compounds or anything, this is happening, then at least I should know how to simulate that. After simulating it also, the real is exactly the same or not. If I want to check, don't you think that there is something that is happening in the human being's intelligence which is unable to do that personally or physically, and that has to be taken care of? That has to be taken care of very perfectly. Then I think I need to depend upon AI. So definitely there are certain areas where human beings' intelligence is limited with decision making, visual perceptions, speech recognitions, language translations. In those areas, technically, the construct and criteria of AI comes into the picture. I think it's just 3 days back information. It's like article I've read. Man, Japanese scientists have identified that there is certain amount of very clear communication that happens between the plants when they are in the growth state. They started understanding that they have some communication language through which they communicate while they are growing, and relevant to that particular factor only, they have very clear intelligence of how much they should grow, at what time they should flower, and when they should give the fruit. These all things are happening with certain communicative messages or communicative systems. Now they are trying to develop a system that can make this communication between the plants to be translated, converted into human level understanding. This may not be today. Many people with scientific thinking, they could have had this sense that what is happening there. Till now, we understood only the chemistry of the plants. But now we are trying to understand the communication behind that chemistry, which is beyond the human intelligence to do that physically. So we need to develop certain things that are definitely in the construct of AI. So you need to understand AI is for everybody, man. But the only thing is how you make an entry into it. Be very, very clear. Many times people ask me, sir, I am a database developer, I'm a networking engineer, I'm a programmer in Java, I've been working in Python for a few years, I'm a DevOps guy, I'm basically working with select data engineering. You are anything, you can have an entry point into AI. But the thing is, you should check that in relevance to your particular career, how you are ready for transforming yourself. One thing, I just leave the question to your common sense, man. If we can really understand the core of the AI, can't we work on other automation levels of AI very easily? So that's the simple thing. That's a simple thing. Here also, there are people who generally think like, can I make my AI to be in a 45 days or something? See, certain universities have created AI as a specialized course for 4 years of BTech and 2 years of MS also, and then there is some PhD. At least in that, you need to know how much time you should spend, man, if you are really thinking of hitting the industry. So it's something what you keep a focus. That's very important. It's not something like we understand AI. No, it's not the concept of understanding AI. It's a concept of, can I understand the problem, find the bottlenecks, and convert that into a solution of AI. This should be your target. This should be your constraint. Then when you come to the construct of decision making, each one is once again divided into multiple areas. I've given you 4 areas where AI concentrates, but in that, once again, you watch how many ways it gets divided. One, you take your decision making. It is any kind of process where a system or an AI algorithm will try to select an action based on the input data. Means if a human being sits and takes the decision with all his experience, what he had, can I make a machine to take the decision in the same way? If I give the corresponding input. So, what are the influencing areas? The one you can currently speak in the market is self driving cars, which are deciding when to stop or when to turn, what speed they have to go through, exactly what is the kind of margin they should take from the other vehicle that is intercepting its path, when exactly it has to totally stop in that particular area, while it is stopping, how the gear shift has to be done. Shifting of gears is not there for you, but internally it is happening automatically. I mean, there is some intelligence behind that, definitely. At what speed, what gear has to be changed? When the gear has to be changed, what's the construct of the operation it has to do on the clutch? The acceleration, pressure, what it has to maintain. These all things are happening automatically. The second is the recommendation systems suggesting the products. Are you not really purchasing your products in your e-commerce where somebody has given reviews and the product has been recommended by the corresponding e-commerce vendor? Today, are you eating your choice of your food, man? Let me not take anything else, man. For majority of the youngsters, I want to ask a question. Are you eating the choice of your food nowadays? No. You're eating the food which has been recommended by somebody's choice. Am I correct? Are you really purchasing any product that is of your choice and your requirement, man? No. You're technically trying to purchase a product that has been the choice of recommendation of somebody. Leave everything, man. Are you really trying to see any movie in your OTT platform that you really want to? No. You're technically watching a movie that is a choice of recommendation of somebody based on your pattern of watching the type of movies. Is not your OTT based systems are giving you on the corresponding state of a patternized history, the next movie that could be better for you. And the final thing I'll tell you, man, you're not even listening to what exactly you want to listen. You're only listening on the recommendation state of somebody's influenced information and you're reacting according to that. Even the news, what you're seeing, or the reels, what you scroll, don't you think that they're having a pattern of your previous history and according that the reel will pop up to you? Means your entertainment is also totally confined to what was your thought process previously. That's what is happening in the construct. So, the influencing areas are some things that are unimaginable. Remember that. There are multiple types of decision making. One is called as rule based, which is something every programmer knows. Every programmer knows. The day when you have written the first if and else statement, you have been part of the rule based artificial intelligence systems only. Don't you think that it's really foolishness when we think that we are learning AI for the first time? People are programmers on the other side, man. Can you tell me you could have written any program till now in your life in a programming language which does not has if and else? So anything you implement using if and else is a first level, least level AI based system in decision making. Are you not taking the decision depending upon your true and false state of your branch? Where each rule is dictating definitely a specific action that should be taken depending upon the conditions. The only difference could be what now? Maybe now on the same rule based systems we could be working with more intensity, more focus and better decision making. That's all. So when you take a rule based system, how technically it works, the system checks the construct of the if part and then executes actions in then part when the conditions are fundamentally met. If the conditions are not met, then it is going into the else part. So I think these kind of fundamental things you could have already done, man. Maybe we try to keep that into a state of machine integrated. Previously, you did in business integrated areas. Now you may be doing it in machine integrated. Means what? You watch the condition there, what I've written. If temperature externally is greater than 30 degrees, then turn on the air conditioner. Now, till now, what you're doing, you are turning on the air conditioner when you feel it is uncomfortable to you. Yes or no? But now what I am expecting is I want to have one temperature sensor device, which is a IoT, which continuously monitors the external temperature and the internal temperature of the room. And depending upon that, your air conditioner should automatically start. It is one small piece of AI project, man. But don't you think that if you get into one company where this project is there, you have developed this particular logic and you really got appreciation. Now, will you be in that particular project once again? No, the project is completed. Now the company will ask you, any more idea you have to make one more AI implementation for our air conditioner product? Therefore, it's a simple AI. So AI projects can be like just bubbles that pop out suddenly. That's all. Therefore, be very clear when you're part of the AI. Think very properly, man. Once AI is induced into that particular area of the service, your job is finished. Am I correct? Therefore, AI jobs will make you fetch and they'll make you lose. Be careful. Why? Because once that is artificial intelligence oriented, you don't have a mindset of thinking one more thing that can be better. Means you should have parallelly what kind of mindset? Research mindset to do something better that can be automated once again with respect to the previous one. Or previous one, what you have automated, can you do anything better than that in automation in the same area? If that mindset is not there, you are no more existing in that project, man. Finish. Therefore, business projects are different, AI projects are different. First, understand this. People generally say, because of AI, we lose the job. Because of AI, many people in the stereotypic work culture will lose the job. And AI people also can lose the job because once you have developed anything in automation and your automation started working, I don't need your service there. I need somewhere else where you can do one more level of AI. Is that point clear? The second thing you watch carefully, if user purchases more than 5 items, then apply 10% discount. Now, technically, don't you think that if once you have achieved that second criteria, where you need to just count the number of items that have been purchased, you're giving 10%. But let us assume here one thing, man. The user is purchasing 5 items where each item is costing only 2 cents. 5 into 2, 10 cents, man. Now, on 10 cents, you're giving 10% discount. Don't you think that here your AI has failed where you're only taking this decision on count? Hello. Then my decision making can change. Why? Because 10 cents of purchase with 10% of discount means technically, I think it's a very bad decision in the business process. Do you agree with me? So maybe the intelligence of analyzing the decision should change. That's how we may have transformative changes, transformative decisions, depending upon the experience and exposure of how the AI gets implemented. Is that point clear to you? In the first case, technically we may be perfect, but in the second case, don't you think that our diligence is going in a wrong way only if we are taking only count as a factor? That's how every AI implementation in rule may not be perfect. But when we apply that rule, we'll check the consequences of failures and limitations. And on the consequences of failures and limitations, we technically try to take some decisions that can make that process to get more better by its implementation. Am I clear? So where exactly the fundamental advantages will come in decision making? In decision making, where the advantages will come. The first is it is very simple and easy to implement. I think everybody sitting on the other side, you agree with me, where you can write very simple if and else concepts. I don't think so. You feel difficult in that. So decision making AI is the most easiest one. Highly interpretable, having human readable logic means what a human being can take as a decision that we are just trying to take it as a automation. Here, actually, even if automation is not there, human being can take the decision. Yes or no? If suppose say like you don't have an IoT device for greater than 30 degrees centigrade to turn on your AC, don't you think that you have the common sense where a human being can take the remote and start the AC? Now let me say like you went to purchase your AC this summer, man. And imagine one of the outlet is saying that, sir, we have integrated AI-based decision making in this particular air conditioner, where if the temperature is more than so and so, which basically makes you uncomfortable in the room, my AC automatically starts and it automatically shuts down when the temperatures are balanced. So technically, that's really something that is an artificial intelligent process. A common man can get really excited on this. But I think as a technologist, you will not have any great excitement, so no, because you're understanding what is happening behind the machine. Then you're fundamentally asking what one price. Say you're asking like, if I get AC with this particular feature, what is the amount I should pay? If I take the AC where I don't want this feature, where I can start my remote and I can control the temperature by myself, what is the price? Imagine between the two, because IoT and AI is there, this AC is costing you more than 5,000. Okay, more 5,000 than the manual one. Now, I think people will definitely think of investing that money or not. Yes or no? Highly interpretable. As a technologist, if I feel that taking my remote, controlling the temperature of my AC is not a big lot of problem for me. Anywhere in the room, I can search and I can do it. I'm not lazy enough to really think on this. Don't you think that I will definitely not get ready to invest that extra 5,000? So interpretable. It's mostly interpretable, having human readable logic, not too constructively intelligent. Am I clear? Like I'll tell you, in automobiles, it has come. Today, I think automobiles all have central locking system. Yes or no? Now, technically, when you came out of your previously, when the central locking system was not there, when you're coming out of your vehicle, you have to keep those glasses up and you should check everything and then you should come out. Yes or no? And then you should lock the car. But after this CTS has come, then technically you will come out of your car just like that and you will try to press one button on your key that has been given to you and automatically it locks everything. Yes or no? And some people raised complaints to the automobile industry that sometimes I'm coming out of my preoccupancy, I'm forgetting to press that lock, and my car is just like that. If you press the lock, then it gets locked. But if you don't press that button on your lock, it never locks. So you move away. Then technically, say like they started some small IoT based construct has come recently, which will sense how much distance you are from your car. If the corresponding distance is more than, say, like 2 meters, then automatically it locks itself. Means vicinity based locking system. Now, for that small feature, which is a value added feature, man, because you are basically lazy to press that lock on your key, this facility was added. And for that, the automobile industries, without your knowledge, they'll add around 10,000 to 15,000 additional price and it will be added up in your overall cost. So what human beings can do, that only the machine will do here. Okay, not anything more than that. Am I clear? In rule based. Are you getting me? Then what are the fundamental disadvantages? There are certain disadvantages also. What are they? Inflexible when it is coming to a complex problem. It cannot solve complex problem. With if and else, we cannot solve everything. Difficult to scale for situations requiring adaptation and learning means automatically by learning, it has to take its own decisions. It cannot do. Are you getting me? Means automated decision making by self-learning capability is not there. So where we will be using this kind of systems, often used in expert systems and automation, less effective and dynamic learning or complex pattern recognition is needed. Are you getting me? That is the area where actual AI and your ML will excel. We are not saying this is decision making is also one kind of AI, but don't you think there's a lowest level AI in the process? The second thing is rule based. When you take rule based, it is the lowest level. To make it better, we need what? We need machine learning based decision making. So machine learning based decision making uses algorithms to learn from historical data, makes predictions or decisions without being explicitly programmed for each scenario. We don't need to tell the scenarios here. It automatically learns. How it fundamentally works. The system is trained on past data to identify patterns and relationships. Now here, this machine learning based AI is successful when come quickly, when you have historical data. Now, can you expect historical data to be available for every area of the business implementation in the world today? No. Even if we are having such data, let us say, historical data is there, let us say, but can you expect all this data to be in digitalized format only? No. Much lot of the data is even today in manual form. Yes or no? Written in books, kept in papers. Now, don't you think that if we really want this machine learning based AI to come 100% successful, in those areas where the data is not totally digitalized, first we should think of digitalizing that particular piece of the data and then keeping the data in the corresponding patterns arranged by history on the timeline and make it ready, and then design systems that can control, that can collect the data currently in the system in a digitalized form and make it ready for the future generations. Do you agree with me? This itself is one very biggest project, man. This itself is one very biggest project. Be very, very clear about that. So, don't you think that for this particular area of AI to get implemented, there are many number of fields where digitalization is one of the biggest project that should be done now? So you can take the construct of research assessment, especially research data. The last 20 years of data, you can expect that to be in digital form. Yes or no? Can you expect the research data in pharma industry, medical sciences, some space research, construction, all these things to be really in digital form beyond 30 years, man? No. Now, who will try to convert all the data into digital form now? So AI projects, if they are taken very seriously in certain areas, don't you think that they will fundamentally make you develop the things and improve number of jobs in those areas once again? So people are not looking into AI in a proper way. So the system is trained on past data to identify patterns and relationships. Means to understand the patterns and to understand the relationships properly. To understand the patterns, we need more of mathematical people. To understand the relationships, we need more of people understanding mathematics plus databases. It uses, whenever you come to the machine learning based AI, it uses the generated patterns to make predictions or decisions, new or unseen data. After all that manual data has been digitalized and it has pushed into patterns to make it get through the process of our intelligence, don't you think that we could have identified some unknown patterns and unseen data from that, which we may not be knowing in last 30 years, and our prophecies and presentations can change now? The whole world, the statistics are saying, man, if the total population of the earth that is existing currently, if it is pushed Hello, are you able to hear me now? Hello. Yeah, we lost the connection in between. Man. So technically, to the demand that is fundamentally arising, man, the existing manpower is not sufficient. And you cannot just push all the manpower directly. Don't you think that we need people who are very serious programmers who can think on very intelligent patterns and come and give services in this particular world? So try to understand the seriousness with which people have to go. No, Rajesh, that's the biggest problem I'm telling you. People are just thinking that AI will replace these areas. No, AI will not replace anything. AI can never replace any programmer. First, understand this. The only question I have for the all IT professionals who are sitting in the session is how many IT people who are working in the IT industry today think that they are really programmers? Question yourself. So, wherever a person is doing stereotypic work, means early in the morning when you start your call, I'm answering everybody now, okay? Early in the morning when you start your call as a IT professional, your job is step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5 completed. Every day your work goes in that style. Those people's jobs are in risk. Are you getting me? Are you getting me? So what I say is 60% are you programming or not check out in your day-to-day job? Just to sit and think for yourself. 60% is my job is dealing with deep programming in my project. Yes, you're safe. No, you are not safe. So people are mostly in this managerial positions, conducting the meetings, going through the construct of the meeting processes. These all people will be having a very tough time, definitely in the coming days with AI, because these all areas will get automated. In cloud also, you're only depending upon the cloud services to complete your job, or you're trying to customize through those cloud services to complete the non-available features in the cloud to your client's business requirement by programming. Check out. Sir, with the existing cloud services, 80% of the work I'm completing, then technically you have a trouble. The same thing comes to the SQL developers, backend developers, middle layer programmers, front end guys, everybody. So you should be in a transformative state. Definitely, AI is the next generation career for all the people who are in the IT industry, having an experience of minimum 5 years, and you cross the 10 years, it's definitely you have to take a career. Got it? And remember one thing, today a constructive fashion is there. Only certain companies which are not into serious implementation, they are supporting you for utilizing the services of ChatGPT and Copilot or Gemini for the sake of writing your code. But to personally, to my knowledge, I know many number of companies long back. I don't know whether you have an idea or not. When Google came, initially people used to search in the Google and they used to write the code. Then there are many number of companies, they don't give you access for Google once you go into your particular office space. Today, the same thing is happening. There are many number of companies which are taking decision that they will not give you the interfaced environment of Copilot and ChatGPT and Gemini in your working spaces. There are certain companies that are supporting it where the companies think that their work should be completed faster only to satisfy the client. They are doing it. But companies that are looking for a long standing relation with the client to give solutions in the best way, they are not doing it. There is variation once again here. Your company is giving you facility to use ChatGPT and then some kind of Copilot or AI, select Gemini and making you write the code, that company will definitely try to remove you after some time. Get ready. Don't expect your job to be permanent in that company. The company that is not allowing you to use this and they are making you write the code by thinking from your own, that company will keep your job for a long time. See, finally, it's programming that is essential, man. Already, the recent statistics are saying that 20% of the people are not using their brain after ChatGPT has come. So get ready. So we need to be very, very carefully operating on this. People thinking that ChatGPT will be available is wrong. I'm telling you. Okay. Don't get into that. There are many companies that don't give you access to this. Those are the actual companies that are expecting best quality services out of it. So, what are the fundamental areas where machine learning based implementations you can find? The best example is loan eligibility. If you have your mobile number, man, don't you think that on an average every day 4 to 5 calls you will get from different kinds of banks saying that please take loans? Now, when you are not in need, why somebody is feeling that you are in need and they are ready to give you? Because somebody is studying your spend patterns. Somebody is spending your how much income you are having, how much credit score you are having, how much other loans you are having. And they know whether you are in a position to take a loan or not. If you take the loan, will you repay the loan or not? They have a credit history of yours. These are only working on machine learning based algorithms. Am I clear? This is a bit okay. When compared with rule based, this is something which is a, I don't say best career, but it's a better career to start with. Fraud detection systems identifies unusual patterns in transactions, flag potential fraud based on historical data. You do your credit card swiping, man. Suddenly, when you're trying to swipe your credit card for something that is not looking like a usual pattern, are you not getting calls? So do try to understand this particular construct. Now, there are fundamental advantages of this, man. The fundamental advantage is what can handle complex and dynamic problems, which if and else cannot do. Certain things can happen here. The second thing is continuously improves as more and more amount of data becomes available. It means more historical data goes on getting generated. It can take the self-learning capabilities. It will develop self-learning abilities and it will start working for you. Am I clear? And then we have something like its own disadvantages. What are they? The more the data you supply with more unique patterns, more better decision making will take place. Means, don't you think that there is a chance of fooling this particular system by generating hypothetical and simulated patterns? This is what digital marketing people will do. Okay. If you take a digital marketing expert in the market, they will try to make you get what I say virtual likes and virtual reviews also. So when I am taking machine-based learning, man, can we really work with machine-based learning without having data sets? No. Now that is where you'll find advantage through my sessions, man. For every type of requirement I work, we will be working on the real-time data sets. It could be any domain. We will be working on them. Only time will tell you. Only time will tell you. Okay. The next thing is decision may be difficult to interpret. Certain decisions may be very difficult to interpret when black box models like deep learning have to be implemented. Means you want to go more deeper into the intelligence and look into the patterns and get some ideas out of it. Then this machine learning based AI will fail. For that, we have another level of AI once again. But can you say every project needs deep learning? No. Be very clear about that. Okay. So technically, we don't need to worry. So you should fit in some area of AI as a beginner. Then with your experience and expertise and operation, you should go on transforming yourself. There are fundamentally some kind of constructs you should check. It is fundamentally used when decision making requires flexibility and adaptation. See, I gave a corresponding pattern saying that so a particular person like XYZ, he is definitely going to have a need of loan. A telecaller will call. Now, technically, I think that may be a true decision, yes or no? So, majority of your decisions may fail. The best example I'll tell you, man, when you're basically scrolling through your Amazon, don't you think that there are many number of products that are recommended to you that are not actually what you're searching? You're actually searching for an electronic product, man. I think there are many number of kitchen products also will come in the list. Why it's giving you? The decision requirement is going on a flexibility and adaptation. Okay, adaptation construct. Like in recommendation systems, predictive analytics, or personalized customer experience, certain things can be exactly the data or product that is not in your choice. I think the same thing will happen when you're searching for some kind of food. What do you want to purchase through Swiggy or Zomato? Some kind of foods and restaurants will come which you are not actually searching for. Yes or no? So decision making system is machine learning based decision making may not be 100% accurate. That's the reason when you come to machine learning based decision making systems development, the client generally tells 50% also, if you are able to give me in automation, I'm happy. After 50% you achieved it, then he'll say, let us make it 60%, then 70%. That way it will go on transforming. Am I clear? Maximum this decision making systems with machine learning based approach, they settle down with 70% accuracy. If you achieve, the project generally closes. Am I clear? So I hope you are getting the basic idea behind the AI. How we'll implement, you leave it on my shoulders, man. Okay, how we will develop, how we will think like programmers. Great mathematics is there. We will learn mathematics with domain integrated approach. It's not just mathematics we will learn. Be very clear about that. How that mathematics can be applied in AI. That's how we will interrelate our examples and we will see. Get ready for very serious programming. For all the people who are coming and joining with us directly, saying that they don't know some languages or anything, we will definitely try to see that we are providing them facilities with self-learning videos on Python like areas. You need to get through that. Okay. Praveen, are we using generative AI? Are we developing generative AI? Only time will tell you as you go through my courses. Okay. Yeah, Mahesh, being a data engineer, you should definitely think of moving towards AI at some level. Got it? See, for everybody, as I told you, irrespective of your domain of experience and the area of your responsibilities, minimum 5 plus, you should think of moving towards AI. 10 plus, you should definitely think of moving. Manoj Meher, the simple prerequisite I tell you is you should have seriousness of learning something new and thinking intelligently by constructively keeping yourself seriously in programming. You should have the mindset of programmer. Be very clear. Okay. See, Muhammad Kaja, the world is totally of interconnected APIs. Yes or no? Now, I don't think you can develop an API without understanding how two different environments should get integrated. So that integration process, if you can automate it, where it can take its own decision depending upon the kind of environmental changes that are happening, don't you think that it is definitely an area what AI can do? Anywhere Swaraj, anywhere Swaraj Lakshmi. The Runbir programming, you don't need Java, but at least Python you need Runbir. We will be providing you self-learning videos of Python. You need to develop that. Okay. See, if you are not into programming, you cannot take a leap into AI. Please be very clear about that. Okay. Praveen, I don't say AI is not essential. It may be too early. If you think that in next 1 or 2 years, with vigorous practice after your course, you really want to get into the world of AI, you can start. Suyesh, libraries, you don't worry. Libraries, I'll take care of. Okay. At least core Python coding, you need to know. Got it? Because as I'm teaching you, I will tell you about libraries. Okay. So you don't worry about libraries now. We will be introducing much lot of libraries time and again, and we'll see very core programming. See, if we want to implement linear regression, we can directly do that implementing library. We can do that on core. I'll show you on core first, such that later on, if you really want to do any customizations on libraries, you should be in a position to do that. Okay. Anyhow, my coming classes will definitely try to give you clarity on the construct and composition of your queries, man. Don't worry. Let us see what is waiting for us in the next level of our implementation. Nagaraj, you can directly take the syllabus once you get registered to your Google Drive, man. Or we'll send syllabus to everybody who got registered today. Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Once again with you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Take care of yourself. Have a great day. Uh, Rajabahu, if you are really thinking on technology side, I always say starting with Seaman. It may look very practically weird nowadays, but at least with Python, you better start. Okay. If you are not really thinking of C, better start with Python.